placed the stone into the statue's groove when a mantis suddenly crawled out, startling me. The insect fluttered away just as my mother's voice called from behind. She was surrounded by guards, beckoning me to the car. Yet the insect seemed to be watching from the shadows, quietly following once our vehicle departed. When we arrived at the military camp, my stepfather greeted my mother as she stepped out, but he was harsh with me, ordering the maid to keep watch. The moment I got out, I spotted the insect and chased after it into the wilderness, stumbling into a labyrinth. The maid rushed over to stop me and brought me back to camp. The insect was still watching from a distance. Late that night, the insect appeared again, transforming into a fairy right before my eyes. I followed the fairy back to the labyrinth, descending a staircase into an underground cavern. At the bottom stood a creature with the head of a goat. He called himself the Fawn, addressed me as Princess, and told me that to reclaim my true identity, I must complete 3 trials. He handed me a blank book, then vanished into the darkness. Aquí no hay nada. When I got home, the moment my finger touched the pages, an image appeared. Following the illustration, I found a dead tree in the wilderness, took out the gemstone, hung my coat on a branch, and crawled into a hollow in the trunk. Inside it was dark and damp, with insects crawling everywhere. I didn't back down, pushing deeper, and soon came face to face with a giant toad. I tried to speak to it, but the toad shot out its tongue and stuck it to my face. It was trying to catch flies. I pretended to pick up insects while extending my left hand holding the gemstone. The toad's tongue snatched the gem and swallowed it, then immediately began convulsing. It spat out a white fleshy mass and shriveled up. I stepped forward and pulled a golden key from the mass. I crawled out of the hollow covered in mud. As I bathed at home, I was filled with joy at completing the first task. When I opened the ancient book again, crimson blood seeped between the pages, and I slammed it shut in fear. Then I heard cries for help outside. My pregnant mother was covered in blood. I frantically alerted my stepfather. The doctor arrived just in time to save her, but my stepfather only cared about when his heir would be born. Worried about my mother, I couldn't focus on continuing the tasks. That night, the Fawn appeared in a fury, demanding to know why I hadn't completed the next task. I had no choice but to explain what happened to my mother. After hearing me out, he produced a mysterious plant, telling me to soak it in milk and add 3 drops of blood daily to heal her. In exchange, I had to complete the second task immediately. The Fawn gave me 3 small fairies and an hourglass, emphasizing that time was running out. I didn't dare delay. Following the instructions, I entered the task chamber and placed the hourglass at the entrance to track time. I made my way down a long corridor to a square dining hall, with a table laden with delicious food that made my mouth water. At the far end sat a motionless monster. I picked up a plate and discovered it held the monster's eyes. I quickly set it back down. I noticed a pile of women's shoes and instantly understood what the monster had done. I summoned the small fairies. Looking up, I saw 3 keyholes on the wall, and the fairies urged me to use the golden key. I first inserted the key into the middle lock, but something felt wrong, so I switched to the left one instead. The lock clicked open, and I retrieved the dagger. When I finished the task, half the sun remained in the hourglass. Faced with a table full of delicacies, I couldn't resist plucking a grape and popping it into my mouth. I had no idea that behind me, the sleeping monster had awakened.